My name is Professor Michio Kaku. I'm a professor of theoretical physics at the City University of New York, and I specialize in something called string theory. You see, physics is at the very foundation of matter and energy. We physicists invented the laser beam. We invented the transistor. We helped to create the first computer. We helped to construct the internet. We wrote the World Wide Web. In addition, we also helped to invent television, radio, radar, microwaves, not to mention MRI scans, PET scans, X-rays. In other words, almost everything you see in your living room, almost everything you see in a modern hospital at some point or other can be traced to a physicist. You have to understand physics. Physics is at the foundation of all the gadgetry, the wizardry, all the marvels of the technological age. All of it can be traced to the work of a physicist. Most of science fiction is, in fact, well within the laws of physics, but possible within maybe 100 years. And then we have impossibilities that may take 1,000 years or more. That includes time travel, warp drive, higher dimensions, portals through space and time, stargates, wormholes. You know, if you were to meet your great-grandparents of the year 1900, they were dirt farmers back then. They didn't live much beyond the age of 40 on average. Long-distance communication in the year 1900 was yelling at your neighbor. And yet, if they could see you now with iPads and iPods and satellites and GPS and laser beams, how would they view you? They would view you as a wizard or sorcerer. However, if we can now meet our grandkids of the year 2100, how would we view them? We would view them as gods. To paraphrase Arthur C. Clarke, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from divinity. The history of physics is the history of modern civilization. Before Isaac Newton, before Galileo, we were shrouded with the mysteries of superstition. People believed in all sorts of different kinds of spirits and demons. What made the planets move? Why do things interact with other things? It was a mystery. So back in the Middle Ages, for example, people read the works of Aristotle. And Aristotle asked the question, why do objects move toward the earth? And that's because, he said, objects yearn to be united with the earth. And why do objects slow down when you put them in motion? Objects in motion slow down because they get tired. These are the works of Aristotle, which held sway for almost 2,000 years until the beginning of modern physics with Galileo and Isaac Newton. When the ancients looked at the sky was full of mystery and wonder. And in the year 1066, the most important date on the British calendar, there was a comet which sailed over the battlefield of Hastings. It frightened the troops of King Harold, and a young man from Normandy swept into England and defeated King Harold at the Battle of Hastings, creating the modern British monarchy. But the question is, where did the comet come from? What was this comet that mysteriously paved the way for the coming of the British monarchy? Well, believe it or not, that same comet, the very same comet that initiated the British monarchy, sailed over London once again in 1682. This time, everyone was asking the question, where do comets come from? Do they signal the death of the king? Why do we have messengers from the heavens in the sky? Well, one man dared to penetrate the secrets of comets, and that was Isaac Newton. In fact, when Isaac Newton was only 23 years old, he stumbled upon the universal force of gravitation. If apples fall, does the moon also fall?